Hey everyone, Ryan here. So today we're going to have a look at the 1993 Dragonzord Deluxe. Weirdly, it doesn't actually say Deluxe on this box. This was the first time we ever had a 6th Ranger Zord in Power Rangers, and it doesn't do a great deal. Nowadays we're used to the 6th Ranger Zord combining, doing tricks of its own, and that's before it even starts combining with another Megazord. In Super Sentai at the time, the idea of the combining mecha was relatively new, and the idea of there being a 6th Ranger with their own mecha, well, that was just crazy. And so I think that's why this year at least, the Dragonzord is just it. One form, one mode, one Dragonzord. But what it lacks in transformations of its own, it more than makes up on with transformations with the original Megazord. This is what we need today. Sounds like the movie. How this thing still works, I have no idea. Okay, on to the differences from Dragon Caesar in Japan. The most obvious one, as usual, stickers. 6 of Dragon Caesar's symbols have been turned into lightning bolts. Lightning bolts, lightning bolts, lightning bolts. Lightning bolts everywhere. Also on the side, he seems to have gained the same M styling that the Megazord has. Why, Bandai, why? Proportionally, it's quite a stubby little robot. It does look alright next to the Megazord, however, and to be fair, in this range, it looks really fine next to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. This almost emulates what it was like on the show, proportion-wise. The Legacy Zords muck that up a bit by not letting the Tyrannosaurus stand fully. You could take his tail off, and then you could make the Dragonzord stand high up as well, to give him a little bit more height, but that's not really screen accurate. This is how you knew things were built to last back in the 90s. The electronics still work. This thing has had batteries in for most of its life, and somehow, so far so good, we're okay. Should probably take them out when they're not in use. Electronics were a feature sorely missing from the Legacy version in 2014, and as a kid they were a nice little welcome addition to a chess piece that is sort of asking for it in how big and clunky it is. I do like the use of the shiny chrome-like gold, which appears all over the figure. This thing has such a great colour scheme. If you think of it, it's just black, green, gold, and silver. 4 really strong colours, all of which usually end up being the 6th Ranger's colour, and here all of them are in one Zord. No wonder it's become such an icon. This, unfortunately, isn't the best Dragonzord we've ever had. I think that award still goes to the Legacy, despite some flaws that one has. But as a display piece, you can't really beat the Legacy. However, I will give this one serious kudos and points for its combinations. The first combination is probably the most memorable, the Dragonzord Warrior Mode, or Dragonzord in Battle Armor. This one takes the saber-toothed tiger, Tyrannosaurus and Mastodon from the original Megazord set, and they basically form the arms and legs for this one. The side plates of the dragon close to form the chest shield, which I remember watching in the show felt somehow much tougher than the normal Megazord. Then his tail, his original chest piece, and a random stand which kind of comes out of nowhere, all combined together to form his laser drill staff. Original Deluxe Dragonzord also had this random handle piece to attach to the staff so that he could actually hold it because it was such weird proportions. Legacy version does improve on that, but that's not what we're talking about today. I think Dragonzord in Battle Armor still looks great today. Probably in some ways better than the Legacy combination, which suffers from some unrealistic proportions around the knee and leg area. Also, Legacy Dragonzord's tail being so long, it makes the staff look a little strange. Here, I feel it's got the correct height. Other combination is the Mega Dragonzord. This one, the Dragonzord splits and basically just sits atop of the Megazord. I used to like this one. They didn't use it very much because they quickly got the Ultrazord afterwards. But this one is all 6 Rangers brought together in one Megazord. We wouldn't see a combination of all 6 Zords until the Ninja Mega Falcon Zord in Season 3. So this was a nice set piece. Mega Dragonzord was quite the opponent, and it's nice that on this one at least, the weight of the Dragonzord isn't trying to pull it to the floor. At the time, it was your only way to get the 8-inch Green Ranger figure, though he doesn't come with a dragon dagger, which is a bit of a shame. The figure, I can take it or leave it. I do have Red Ranger and Black Ranger, and White Ranger I suppose in the same scale, but the 8-inch figures just weren't my faves, so I never completed that set. Dragonzord actually belonged to my brother. I got Megazord, he got Dragonzord, and then we got Ultrazord between us. Unfortunately, Dragonzord has suffered quite a few damages and injuries over the years. The tail broke off at some point, although that I've been able to fix fairly well with some super glue. You know the little cod piece thing? protection abdominal in French. Stomach guard. Yes, the stomach guard plate, the second clip broke off. So today I've just got a bit of blue tack holding it in place. Bit of a shame, but I'm quite amazed at myself though that despite losing the connecting clip, I've still got it. The third breakage is actually the worst, and I know it's happened to quite a few people where the pin that connects the hip joint to the torso on one side has come out, got lost. For quite a few years growing up, the hip was completely separate from the torso. Bit annoying. I don't know when this happened, but at some stage I realised I could take a giant paper clip and I could pull off the long bit, I could kind of bend it forwards and backwards until it snapped off, and then it gave me the exact right size peg I needed to push into the hole and then just put a little bit of super glue on the back of it to stop it from coming out. Weirdly, that worked, and it's now got just as much flexibility as it did back in the day. So if your Dragonzord is missing the connecting pin, giant paper clip. Dragonzord is one of those toys that's just always going to seem cool because it was Tommy's when he was the Green Ranger, and it came out of the ocean and it ate some smokestacks, and you knew stuff was going to go down when it got summoned. It was just a cool Zord. It didn't matter at the time that it didn't do a great deal. But the value that it brought to the original Megazord really solidified the Green Ranger's place on the proper team, not just as an agent of evil. So we're 2/3 of the way through the Zords from the first series of Power Rangers. You know what's up next, it's the one that brings them all together, Titanus. Thanks for your comments lately, it's been great to hear about the nostalgia that you guys feel for these things as well. Keep them coming and I'll get back to you. That's it for this time then, see you later.